everyone, welcome back to the blog. It is Clarence from Seagull on the Speed 252. Today is a great day out. It's 72 degrees, so I'm glad I was able to get the Corvette out of the garage. Unfortunately, I have to spend this beautiful day going to a funeral my aunt passed recently, so that's where I'm headed to now to go visit some family. But I had a subscriber reach out to me and ask, what's the difference between the Grandsport and the Z06, and because he's in the market to buy one within a month, and I want to make sure that I was able to get this video out before he had the opportunity to buy his car, so you have a little bit of information about these two cars coming from my standpoint. Now, there's a lot of information about both cars, but I want to give you my opinion about both cars due to me owning the Grandsport and me daily driving it, and me actually having to test drive a Z06 and being around it a decent amount. Without further ado, let's hop into a little bit of the Grandsport and a little bit of Z06. For starters, both cars are great. Hands down, you can't beat it. They both look amazing. They both pretty much look the same. What I do want to say is there are some differences between the Grandsport and the Z06. There are not many, but there are big differences in my opinion. For instance, the Grandsport, 460 horsepower, Z06, 650 horsepower. The Z06 has a supercharger, the Grandsport doesn't have a supercharger. If you're in a market of, tracking your car on a consistent basis, then you probably want to go with the Grandsport because it's naturally aspirated and it's perfect for the track. Now the Z06, 2017, 18, and 19, you can track those as well without it overheating, because the ones in the previous past had issues with the overheating. Now they didn't fix those issues, so you can definitely track the Z06, but the Grandsport is perfect for the track. So I think that when you're thinking about buying a Grandsport or a Z06, I think you want to figure out what is your plans or what is your goals for this car. Do you want to just get a nice car that you can drive around on a regular basis? Go with the Grandsport. If you want to track it on a regular basis, go with the Grandsport. If you want something with a lot of horsepower, you want to be able to track it, and you just want that all-around top suspension, then you go with the Z06, because they do say the Grandsport and the Z06 are somewhat similar other than having the engines, but it's a little bit of difference. For instance, the suspension aren't really the same. I mean, there are little differences between the Z06 and the Grandsport suspension for sure. Don't let them think that it's both identical, as it is not. For what I was told after speaking with a couple of people from the dealership that work on my cars, I have a lot of friends that work in dealerships, the suspension really isn't the same. If you decide that at some point in the future you want to supercharge your Grandsport, you actually need to put a Pro Charge on it or supercharge it, and you will have to actually change the fuel injection system, because the fuel injection system that's in a Grandsport can't handle the Pro Charger or supercharger once installed. So that's another big thing you have to think about, which a lot of people don't tell you that unless you actually work on cars on a regular basis. I do research all the time. I look at cars all the time. I look at Z06s, Grandsports. I look at the price go up and down. I look at Lamborghinis. I look at Ferraris, and I just read forums and I read things all the time to give me an explanation of what you need to do if you decide to do these things. Another thing is the Grandsport has an LT1. The Z06 has an LT4. It's a big difference. If you decide to go put a Pro Charger on your LT1, it still probably won't perform the same as an LT4, and you run a risk of overheating your car, because as you know, the 2015 and the 2016 Z06s all had heating and cooling issues without even tracking them. I mean, literally, I had people that said they would drive out of town, be stuck in traffic, and their car be overheating while they're sitting in it. That's a shame. That shouldn't happen. If you're spending anywhere between $80,000 to $100,000 on this car, the last thing you need is your vehicle to be overheating while you're sitting in bad traffic. That is terrible. So with that being said, if you decide to put a Pro Charger or a supercharger on your Grandsport, you would need to change the cooling system in that as well, because the cooling system that's in the Grandsport now isn't meant to carry a Pro Charger or supercharger. So I think that depending on what you literally want to do with that car, the Grandsport or Z06, you might want to weigh your options really well. Now, based off the market that I've been seeing right now, you can literally get a used Z06 2017 all the way up to 19, anywhere between the low end of literally $65,000 to the high end of $100K. You can get a used Grandsport anywhere between $55,000 to up to $65,000. So you have your options. You can spend $65,000 on a brand new Grandsport, which is yours, fresh, nobody driven it, or you can spend $65,000 on a brand new, used 2017 Z06, which probably won't have a lot of miles on it, which means that that customer probably didn't really drive it or do anything with it anyways. They probably either, traded it in for say, they don't want to daily drive a Z06. Well, why not? What's really the big difference between the Z06 and the Grandsport with daily driving? There's not a difference, honestly. I mean, if the speed limit is 75, I would have to go 75 in the Grandsport, and I have to go 75 in the Z06. There's really no difference. They're going to ride both the same. They may ride a little bit different because the suspension is different, but it also depends on which mode you have it in, whether it's sport mode, tour mode, eco mode, track mode. I mean, obviously, if you put it in sport mode, everything tightens up. If you put it in eco mode or tour mode, everything loosens up. That's the same thing for the Z06. So you can obviously daily drive both vehicles all day long. And once again, both are great cars. I mean, I think it also depends on how much money you want to spend. You can spend $65K and have a track-ready car every single day at the moment if you plan to go to the track on a consistent basis. For me, I love the track. I can't stay away from the track. When I first bought my car, I bought it because I thought it looked great. At the time, I really couldn't tell you much difference between the Z06 and the Grandsport. I just know I wanted a Z06. I had my heart set on buying a Z06. I saw my friends. I woke up thinking about a Z06. I woke up talking about a Z06. I talked to my dogs. I was like, hey, I'm concerned about a Z06 today. Me and my dogs was like, dude, you talk about this every single day. Just get a Z06, right? So when I called a dealership and say, hey, I'm in the market, I want to buy a Z06, first thing he tells me is, are you planning to track this car on a regular basis? I was like, heck no. So he was like, well, why don't you just get a Grandsport? We don't have any deals right now in the Z06. You're going to pay every penny for it, but we can get you a great deal on the Grandsport. So he told me to think about it overnight. He sent me 2 photos, of a black on black, which I didn't really like that much at the time. I do like black wheels now. And he sent me the blue and chrome, which I currently have. And I was like, I'm not really that type of person, so I'm not going to track all the time. I want it for looks. That's what I'm going for at the time. I'm going for looks. And I get to save some money. Why not? Grandsport it is. So I called him the next day, made a deal within 2 minutes, and I got me a Grandsport. Little did I know, one of my buddies said, hey, Clarence, let's go to the track. Let's go to VIR and let's go to the track. Sure, why not? I mean, I'm not going to track it all the time. It'll be fun to track it once. And boy, did I know, as soon as I left the track, I didn't even want to leave. They had to drag me away from it. It was that amazing. So it was just like, wow, this is an unbelievable car and it sounds so good. But when I got there, honestly, there wasn't that many Grandsports on the track. It was a lot of Z06s. Now, don't get me wrong. Is 460 horsepower enough for the track? Yeah. Can a professional driver drive your Grandsport better than you can? Yeah. But at the same time, now you can get a Z06 pretty much almost similar to the price you can get a Grandsport. So why not get a Z06? Now, there's a lot of people that they say they can't drive a Z06, but you can always learn. For instance, for me, the summer is just now arriving. I mean, today has been literally one of the great days that we had in a long, long time. But as soon as it is perfect, I'm going to always be taking track lessons. I'm going to always be at the track, and I want to get better as a driver. Not saying I'm going to become a NASCAR driver by no means. I love those guys. I love NASCAR a lot. But I'm not going to become a NASCAR driver. But what I do want to get better at is driving my car so I can do track things all the time. And for me personally, I love my car. If another YouTuber reached out to me and said, hey, I live out in Oklahoma, and we got a couple of tracks meets out here, are you willing to come? I am in the car and like I'm on my way. Just because I just love the track. And why having this car cooped up in the garage when you can put it on the track and have a great time with it? I don't buy cars to look pretty with anymore. I buy them to enjoy. And so I think that just all depends on what you would like to do with the Grandsport and the Z06 is why are you buying it? Are you buying it to go to the track or are you buying it for looks? The prices are similar. And to be honest with you, I went to the dyno recently and with people in my car club, and mainly most of them have most of them actually have Camaros SS, and they have LT1's engine. I have an LT1 engine. That car actually performed better than mine. Now just thinking about it, out of all cars there at the dyno that day, that truck sounds weird. Out of all the cars at the dyno that day, probably out of 30 cars, I lie to you not, this Grandsport performed the worst out of all 30 cars that was there, even out of the basic stock Camaros. So it was one of those things that was like, well, dang, I bought, this kind of expensive car because it is more expensive than a Camaro, and my car didn't perform as well as these Camaros did. So it just all depends on deep down what you're looking for and what you want. Definitely do your research. Taking the fact that if you decide to buy a Grandsport and you want some horsepower just like the Z06, you can get it there, but it's going to cost you a little bit more money. Fuel injection system, you have an LT1, so you have to pro charge and change some things internally, which means there's more room for error. There's just all depends on really what you want to do. If you decide to supercharge your Corvette, you would definitely need to change the cooling system, because the cooling system that's in the Grandsport right now isn't even meant to hold a Pro Charger or supercharger. You need to change your whole entire cooling system out, because the new Z06s, 2017s and above, come with a bigger cooler, radiator in order to support the superchargers in there now, and then the Z01s come with like maybe 5 or 4 more additional radiators from what I was told. So, you know, there's a lot more to do with the Grandsport if you want to get into the horsepower level of Z06. So I think in all, what it boils down to is what you're planning to do with your car. That should determine whether or not you should get a Z06 or a Grandsport. They're both cars. They're both great cars. I think you will love either one that you choose. For instance, for me, I love my Grandsport, don't get me wrong, but do I think about owning a Z06 at times? Heck yeah. I mean, I'm in a car club, and you know, if I'm in a car club and we go out of state, most of those guys have Z06s, and this is just me. I mean, I love my Grandsport, but when I'm parked beside a Z06, it's like, dang, I wanted one of those when I got one. So it just all depends on what your preference is, what you're looking for, what you're planning to do with it, how much money you're trying to spend, and what you're trying to go with it. That's all. I mean, you can always get something, and if you don't like it, probably trade it for it, but you probably lose some money. So don't make that mistake and just buy something because it's there. Do a little bit more research. If you have test driven the Z06 and you haven't test driven a Grandsport, go for it. I will say, don't test drive both in the same day. I test drove both the Grandsport and the Z06 in the same day, and I made a mistake of thinking they were somewhat similar, because I floored both of them, and at the time they felt the same, because one, they didn't reach their breaking point, so they felt literally somewhat similar to me. If you already test drive the Z06, test drive a Grandsport. You test drive the Grandsport, test drive a Z06, and go home, sit down about it, read some things, do some research, and figure out what you want to do with this car. I want to thank you for watching this video. Thank you for mashing that play button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do.